actually going to be hosting a little watch party. We've got a big projector set up. We'll be watching the game. I'm sure we'll only miss a little bit of it, depending on how long y'all's answers are tonight.
We'll be really brief.
Yeah, right? 20-minute panel, guys. No, but anyways, so thanks for joining us tonight. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Haley Gant. I'm one of our IRA specialists here at Quest, and I also help to work with the rest of our marketing team to put these events and these mixers and these networking opportunities on for you guys. So who here, did everyone get a blue little raffle ticket as you came in? Yeah, who loves a good raffle, right? So get out your blue raffle ticket. We do the raffles at the beginning to kind of reward you guys for getting in here on time. And I have 3 giveaways tonight. No Ferraris, no Maseratis. Sorry, guys. I've got like a hat and an umbrella and some other cool things for you. But let's go ahead and do these raffles. I will say get your ticket out because maybe next time. Y'all have to talk to Nathan about that one. All right, so the first winner, we're going to do the last 3 numbers, and you guys are going to win a Quest umbrella. Is 016. Do we have, oh, that was a sad awe. 016. Oh, good, congrats, come on. Come get your umbrella. Don't open up inside. We're trying to have the Astros win tonight.
She's got a broken foot. You're going to make her walk all the way up here?
Yes, I am. Sorry, my microphone's also connected to the podium right now. There you go, congratulations. You can keep the ticket. Keep it as a souvenir. All right, guys, we have 2 more to go. Do we have 027? Last 3 numbers. Oh, congratulations. Come on up. You win a Quest hat. Woo. Woo. All right, guys. All right, don't worry. Come back next month. Maybe we'll have that Ferrari. All right, guys. So the last one is a little Quest gift cup. It's not a gift basket. It's a gift cup. And the winner for this one is 030. Do we have 030 in the house? David, you're disqualified. I'm sorry. That's my boyfriend. He doesn't get to win. Sorry. You have access to this anytime. You're good. Do we have 011? 011? All right. We don't have 0. Oh, good. Congratulations. Come get your key. You've got some fun stuff in here. You've got an ice pack. You've got a koozie. You've got as much as I could fit in the cup from our storage closet today. Congratulations. All right, guys, so I hope that was fun. Yeah, it's the only way you can do it.
Where's your dad? Is he already watching the game?
I don't know. I specifically did not turn the game on beforehand because I wanted to get people in here for the event. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We've got a lot of panel questions. I'd love to get y'all's questions out to our speakers here tonight as well. So I do have a couple of quick announcements for you guys. Quick show of hands, who here is it your first time in our office, first time in our classroom? Wow, lots of new faces. Wow. Welcome, guys. We're so glad to have you here. We used to host these big mixers, big weekly classes every single month right up until the pandemic. And if you guys have been to real estate events these days, you know that they're kind of slowly getting off the ground. We're all really kind of rebuilding our database and our fun parties that we host, hence the giveaways and the food and the drinks. But we're really happy to have you guys here. And basically at Quest Trust Company, at the core of our business, we're a self-directed IRA custodian. So we teach investors how to utilize their old 401ks and IRAs to invest into assets outside of the stock market. So our clients use their IRAs to buy real estate, do private lending, invest into multifamily deals. And there's a lot of options that you can actually diversify your IRA investments and build wealth completely tax-free from those investments that you hold in your IRA. So we host a ton of events. We've been around since 2003. We've got about 20,000 active clients nationwide. So we do operate in all 50 states. And one of the biggest things we want to do is we're here to help you guys. We're here to help you build wealth, make connections. We want our office to be a really great hub that you guys can come to. You can meet people. You can learn from different various real estate experts. So especially for all of you people that it's your first time here with us, we're definitely happy to have you here. Welcome. And most importantly, this bright yellow bullet point is our disclaimer. Please be aware that at Quest, we do not give tax, legal, or investment advice. We put on a lot of events, a lot of education. We bring in a lot of different guest speakers. But please be aware, do your own due diligence before you enter into investments. Make sure you don't rush into deals with people that you do not know. And take time to get to know the people around you and align yourself with like-minded individuals that will help not only protect you and your investments, but your nest egg and your retirement account as well. So now that that's out of the way, this is just one of many classes and events that we host here at Quest. Most of our events are still online, but we are really, yeah, come on up. Can't miss you in that bright yellow shirt.
You can't make a grand entry if you're the first one to arrive.
You guys see where I get my charisma from. All right, anyways. Now that that distraction is over, this is just one of many events that we host here at Quest. Again, we're very passionate about teaching investors all about various types of investment options, strategies, ways to build wealth inside and outside of an IRA. So be sure to check out our website. We also do send out like a weekly newsletter. We host webinars every single week. And if you guys are looking to network with other investors from all across the country, definitely be sure to join us at our virtual networking happy hours. They're the first and third Wednesday of every month. I'll actually be hosting it myself tomorrow night on Zoom. And we get anywhere from about 30 to 50 investors from all across the country that join us at these virtual happy hours. And it's really created a nice little network of IRA and real estate investors from all across the country, as none of us have been able to attend events in person over the last year and a half. Now, next month's social is going to be speed networking. We're going to have some ugly sweaters. We're going to have some holiday excitement going on. And this mixer here in our office, if you guys have been coming to our events for a while, you know that we used to call them the $1 trillion mixers, because there's $1 trillion in IRAs, and this is a great way to meet people to tap into that. But in the spirit of bringing back the events and freshening things up, we have rebranded this mixer to the Self-Directed IRA Social. And here in Houston, it's on the first Tuesday of every month. If you guys have friends in either Austin or Dallas, we do host this exact same mixer in those cities as well. Houston will always be the first Tuesday, Austin will always be the second Tuesday, and Dallas will always be the third Tuesday of the month. Try to keep it as simple as we can, as we host 30 events throughout every month. So we've got a lot going on. But anyways, come join us on December 7th right here in this room. We'll be doing speed networking. We'll have food, drinks, some giveaways again. So hopefully you guys come and join us. Now, our biggest event that we are promoting right now is QuestCon Live Forecasting 2022. Once again, if you guys have known us for a couple of years, you might know that before the pandemic, we actually hosted a really big expo. We actually got to host 2 of them in 2018 and 2019. In 2019, we had 700 people at a big hotel here in Houston. It was a really big affair. It was a lot of fun, but in lieu of that, right now, we're actually hosting a full 2-day online self-directed IRA conference. It's called QuestCon Live. It is all day Friday, December 3rd, and all day, well, until 4 p.m., Saturday, December 4th. We have over 20 different guest speakers joining us, and this week is actually the last week that tickets are in pre-sales right now. So they're $49. You get the whole access to the weekend. And what I'll do for you guys tonight, do I have Juan Deshawn in the room? So if you guys all turn around back there, Juan Deshawn right there. He'll actually have an iPad after the presentation where you guys can actually purchase a ticket. If you purchase a ticket at the $49 pre-sale tonight, I'll actually include a free copy of the recording for you guys. So Juan, any tickets that we sell, we'll keep track of that. We'll get you a free copy of the recording, and we're a month away, and pre-sales end this Friday. So prices will be going up. If you're interested in opening an IRA with us, we will give you a free ticket, but if not, it's $49. You'll get full access to the recordings, and it's a really great event. Our marketing team puts a lot of effort into putting this on and making sure that we bring out really high quality speakers and presentations for you guys. So we hope to see you all at QuestCon Live, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tonight's main presentation, which is Harvest Your Wealth. Guys, I love this play on words. A little bit of background, as we've been really getting our new mixers and events off the ground over these last couple of months. We had these big grand opening events planned. Delta came around, kind of put a damper on that. Sometimes people aren't as ready to get back out there as they all say that they have been in the last several months. So we actually hosted this event in 2017. I hosted it up in Dallas when I was brand new to running an office. I was like, all right, how do we get people in the door? So tonight's theme of this event is all about how investing in real estate and self-directed IRAs have helped our real estate experts harvest their wealth over the last several years, and basically how real estate can help you guys build wealth, whether you're new, whether you're experienced, whether you're scaling your business. So I do actually have several kind of pre-planned questions here, but I would also encourage you guys, if you have a question for our speakers, we have probably upwards of 50 years of real estate experience in investing up here on this panel. So if you guys have questions, we'll be taking questions from the audience as well, and it's a great time to kind of pick these guys' brains. As you'll see, they've got a lot of info to offer. So panelists, if you guys could control yourselves over here. It's not your turn yet. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We have 4 panelists tonight. We've got Tom Barry, we've got Steve Vigil, we've got Eddie Gant, and we've got the outlier of the 2, Nathan Long. You guys catch my joke there with all the bald men up here. Sorry, we were making the flyer and we're like, it's kind of funny. But anyways, panelists, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and go from this direction, Tom, down to Nathan. Take a quick minute into the microphone so people online can hear you. Introduce yourselves, take a minute or two, who you are, what you do, what your experience is, and what makes you qualified to sit up here tonight.
All right, I don't know if I am qualified, but my name is Tom Barry, and I live here in the Houston market. I've done about everything in real estate that you can do with a piece of real estate, I think, except for options maybe. Mainly right now I invest in commercial assets and notes. We do a lot of lending. We lend and purchase in 18 states, and this is all I've done for the last 14 years. So.
All right, thank you, Tom. I'm Steve Vigil, and we have been, Susan and I have been full-time real estate investors for about 9 years now. And in that period of time, we have fixed and flips hundreds and hundreds of homes. We have rental properties. We sell properties owner finance. We do mortgage notes. We do a little bit of lending. And we've also got the Wealth Club, which is our education side of the business, which is about giving back and teaching all of you people that are new, experienced, how to do different types of investments, how to become passive investors, and do the smart thing and get the education before you stick your money out there and lose it. We see that happen all the time. Everybody's really good about coming to me after the fact. Come to me before it happens. It will help you tremendously.
I've got to leave early. I'm scheduled to pitch the 7th or the 8th inning. I'm not sure yet. They're calling me to the bullpen here. I'm officially here under protest on this deal. Let's go, Astros.
Let that know.
Let's go, Astros. Okay, there you go. I do a lot of stuff. I flip houses, I buy notes, I buy timberland, I buy land, I buy junk.
Inside your IRA.
Yes, of course. Quest customer since they were before Quest. Intrust, correct? Am I correct? Intrust.
I think you're customer 3.
Yeah. I don't know. 1999 or 2000, I don't know. Rolled my old 401k into it, and it's been a rocket ship ever since. I have a lot of things going on in it. And I enjoy it, and I love the people, and I thank the world of Quincy, and I thank the world of Nathan so much I let my daughter come over here. So you just glad to be here. I'm getting old.
Okay.
I'm getting old.
You don't let Haley do anything. Haley is her own thing, despite what you want to do, Dad.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you stories about that. But no, just an honor to be here. I'm getting old. It's time to let some of these young folks come over and take over. Here comes some of them in the room right now. But anyway, glad to be here. I'll answer any questions you got.
Hello, everyone. Nathan, president of Quest Trust Company. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. Hope we can provide some education as well as some entertainment. I would like to take just a half second and ask you guys to thank a couple of people that aren't always up here on stage. One of them is our founder, H. Quincy Long, right at the back of the room, founded Quest. Another one, Jody, stand up. One of the other owners and principals of Quest that you almost never see, Jody Patrick. He's down here from Michigan. These are the originators, the guys that go back a long time and started this with a dream to hope to just educate people, and somehow it grew into all of this. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys. Yeah, it was funny, Jody, I saw you out on the phone earlier and I did a double take. I'm like, whoa, he doesn't live here. Yeah. Awesome, guys. So before we get on to the next question, I kind of want to see a quick show of hands. Who here considers yourself a new real estate investor? Maybe in your first year or two? Who here has been investing in real estate for over 5 years? Over 5 years. All right, so we've got a good mix of people. But speakers, since tonight is about harvesting your wealth, how real estate has taken you from where you started to where you are today, I kind of want to get a feel for how did you get involved in investing in real estate? How did you get started? What kind of world did you come from before that? Nathan, we'll start with you. We're going to kind of alternate, go back and forth. I'll put you on the spot first for this one. But kind of give us a background of how you got started. How'd you get into it?
Well, honestly, I really owe it all to my brother because I'll be honest, I'm not the best real estate investor. I'm really good at running Quest and running a service business and doing things like that. But the way Quest started is Quincy was investing in loans, and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Loans secured by real estate and doing things. And that's how I got into it, is just learning to loan money. Now, I've had some rental properties along the way and stuff, but mostly just been a lender and kind of stumbled into it accidentally, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right, Eddie, how'd you get started?
Country boy from Mississippi, degree in civil engineering, moved to Texas, started building power plants, walked into my job in June of '99 and quit. The next day or two, Debbie and I went to Vegas. And I think I played golf for a day or two, and then we went to Vegas, and my plan was to get back and figure it out. And as most of us, I came back and I got into the basics, which is flipping houses, and it just evolves from there. If you do it right and treat it like a business and a long-term business, you evolve, and you evolve to other things, and we can get into. But that's how I got into it. I was entrepreneurial. I wanted to be in real estate. I did not know exactly what part I wanted to be, but I started flipping houses first, and I'm 1,700 plus into that arena.
Well, I started different than these guys. I was a corporate guy. I was in corporate America, put my 30 years in there, and the thing that really I started thinking about was, at the end of all this, what have I got? I got nothing. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that really started to scare me. It's because I was starting to get a little bit older. Not as old as I am now, yeah. And so that was, one of the things that really pushed me towards getting into real estate. I always liked real estate. Bought my first rental house in 2002, but all those years I was in corporate and buying rental houses here and there, I did everything wrong. I did nothing right. I didn't want to listen to what anybody said because I was a smart guy. I knew everything. But that was the biggest mistake I could make. And because of that, we actually bought some deals and they turned out really bad. So
That's the news you got, in some ways.
yeah, that's right. We got a lot of education out of it. So but then we guess about 2012 we started really getting some education and really started moving forward with this. And I think it was 2013, 2014, I left corporate America and started doing this full time. And it's been a fantastic business. Lots of great education along the way, lots of great, fantastic people along the way. And, real estate is, when there's no turning back, is something we love to do.
So I got into real estate by necessity, really. Right out of high school, I got my real estate license, and I was a realtor for a while, and auctioneer, and then I went into corporate, and then I went into financial services, and did that for 10 years, selling mutual funds and annuities and insurances and mortgages. And 2007 came along and wiped us out. So, I'm sitting around wondering what I'm going to do next. So I said, well, I always did like real estate, so I'm going to do this. And so we started as hosts. No, my wife laughed at me. She says, "Yeah, we're gonna buy real estate with what?" That was her exact words. You go buy real estate with what? But we started wholesaling. We started flipping. We moved from houses pretty quickly into apartment complexes, and we did real well with that. We ended up at our peak at about 420 units, and then started going the other way, selling stuff off as prices got higher, and harvested that equity, as the story tonight is, and just moved that into lending, and that's where we are.
Nice. And now you're in a meat processing too.
Well, not yet. That's under contract. We have not closed on that.
Stay tuned,
As a
guys.
vegan, I object.
All right, I'll cross that question out then. Anyways, so, and don't worry, guys, through these questions, we're going to kind of move from lessons in the beginning to, things that can help you guys today. And then we are going to open it up for questions for you guys. We actually have a really awesome throwable microphone that we've never gotten to use yet. So y'all think of some good questions, because I do want to get to some of those at the end as well. Now,
Ready to catch.
yes, and protect your beer, please. So as you were getting started, I know several of you guys, if not all of you, got started in real estate several years ago. What were some of the biggest lessons that you learned along the way early in your career, and how can that be kind of turned into a teachable moment for our audience tonight? Tom, we'll start with you.
Oh, geez. Well, one of the first lessons I learned was you didn't need your own money to buy real estate. That was a huge one for me. And we all have a different story here, because I know that for sure. But for me, where I came in, Melissa and I didn't have any money. We just lost everything. So I didn't figure I could buy real estate. I thought, wholesaling was the only thing available to me. But some of the guys I was wholesaling the houses to were buying using private money, and Quest money in particular. So that was really an eye-opener to me. I'm like, wait a minute, if these guys can buy, they don't have any money either. Well, hell, I ought to be able to too. And that's when I started coming to the Quest mixers, and that's when I met Quincy and subsequently Nathan, and we raised a lot of money out of this room, really. So that was that was an eye-opener for me. So I would say, if you have the funds, it controls everything. The money controls everything. But it doesn't have to be your funds, right? It could be any funds that make sense for that particular deal.
All right, excellent answer. An eye-opener for me, like I said, there's a million different ways we could go with this, but I think for me, one of the big eye-openers was, I thought, because I was a corporate guy, and I always considered myself a very, very good employee. I was a general manager running a company, had lots of employees, and when you're in that position, you think you know everything. And you don't necessarily want to take advice from everybody. You don't want to listen to what everybody has to say. And that can be your biggest mistake. As I started getting into this, and I started actually going to some classes, coming to Quest, coming to the Wealth Club, and meeting people, I found that, if I had a question and I asked someone, they would actually give me an answer. They would help me out. And so for me, opening my mindset to just not taking it on myself and working with other people was a huge, huge eye-opener for me. So think about that. You're up.
Take this one. Well, I agree with these two gentlemen. Tom kind of stole my thunder a little bit because he's dead on, and I agree with everything you said, and we have a lot of similarities between what Tom does and what I do regarding capital and money. So, but you don't want to hear me say the same thing somebody else said, so I'll say a third lesson. And I learned early on, and it's even more prevalent, this lesson today than it was 22 years ago, is I tried to surround myself with people that knew what they were doing. There's a difference between surrounding yourself with people that know what they're doing and people that say they know what they're doing. That's a big difference. And I'll use that Facebook as an example. You can ask a technical question on Facebook, and really quick you'll get 46 answers. And there's some of them, sometimes I look at them, and I don't call anybody out. That's not my style to call them out. I'll call them out on a bar stool, I won't call them out on social media. And they're all wrong, So I learned early on, surround yourself with people that know what they're doing from all walks. You can't do it yourself. You can't be a title expert. You can't be an insurance expert. You can't necessarily be a a money lending expert, but you can be an expert in running your own business by having all these people around you. And we can elaborate and take that to the nth degree if you want. But it sounds so simple. You know, it really does, but I see it all the time. I'll be talking to this guy, and I've been talking to him for a year, and get him on the right track, and then he goes off track and says, "What are you doing?" "Well, I read on Facebook you do it this way." I'm like, you know, dude, what are you doing? You know. So surround yourself with people that know what the heck they're doing, and listen to them, and stay on course with conviction. And that's a big word, conviction. You got to believe in what you're doing, and believe in what the people are teaching you that know what they're doing, and stay that course, and not be changing directions like the wind changes. You got to stay that course.
Man, that's so wise, Eddie. So wise. Like I always say that I'm a really good manager of Quest. Like I can prove it. We grew this company from this little thing into this giant thing. Do you guys know why I'm a really good manager at Quest? Why am I a good manager?
Because you are bad at everything else.
Ah, there it is. I have to trust other people because I suck at everything. I swear my success comes from the people that I've surrounded myself with because I can barely tie my own shoes. I'm not sure how I got here. So that being said, I'm not sure how wise all my advice will be. But I will say that if I had something that would say early, I'd be like, ask people before you give them the money, what would happen when it goes wrong?
Okay, good.
Okay? Like, I would get so excited over the yield or something, you know, in the early days. But now I'm like, okay, what happens when you die? What happens, like, if there's a hurricane? What happens because guess what? I've experienced all those things. So my big thing is always ask what happens when it's going to go bad, because it always does. And guess what? Good investors actually have an answer to that. They're like, yeah, no, it doesn't always work out like I had. Like sometimes I have to do this and sometimes I have to do that. And that's the guy that I like to put my money on. The guy that knows what to do when it goes wrong.
Yeah, and guys, if you ever get someone when you start asking those questions and probing and they are dodging your questions, maybe it'll be a bit of a red flag right there. Just kind of add my 2 cents right there. All right, so moving right down the list. So obviously, guys, you are here at a self-directed IRA classroom. So we're about to apply this to IRAs a little bit. Now, I've been with Quest for a little over 5 years now. My boyfriend and I, we both invest with our own IRAs, Roth IRAs, inherited IRAs. And, you know, I've seen my parents do this since 2003. So, but how many of you guys have never done an investment with a self-directed IRA? Never done an investment. Oh, guys, you came to the right place tonight. All right, so coming from our experts up here, how did you get involved with self-directed IRAs? How have they helped you build wealth? Have you used your own IRA? Have you used other people's IRAs? How have you applied this to your own life? And Tom, you're going to go first. Oh.
So I used self-directed IRAs the opposite of everybody else when I started. I used self-directed IRAs to borrow from. That's what we did. Over, I think it was the first 4.5 or 5 years, I don't remember exactly now, we kept track that we'd borrowed over $18 million over 4.5 to 5 years. And I think it was 60-some% of that was from...
Those were $1 million properties, right?
Some, but not in the early years. In the early years, the average loan amount was $55,000, I remember. But you know, like Eddie said, you know, you evolve in the business. When you become, you know, pretty proficient at one thing, you'll start doing something a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and you know, that's just how it works. But we started with self-directed IRAs by borrowing from those, and you know, that's the only thing I do with my IRA. I'm not as adventurous with it. We invest in a lot of stuff, but we invest in those things outside of our IRA. So our IRAs we just use to lend because that's what I'm comfortable with and know how to do with it.
Well, like Tom, we started doing the same way. In the beginning, when we decided that we wanted to be private lender folks. We were always qualified to get money anywhere we wanted to, but we just kind of went down that private lender path. So we started borrowing from lenders with IRA accounts. But as one of my coaches taught me, getting out in front of people and putting our money to work actually helped attract money to me. Not only did it help attract money to me, but it was giving me an education from the lender side. So as I became a very good borrower, I became a good borrower because I knew what a lender expected because I was lending on the other side. So that was one of the big things for me in using IRA money.
All right, I'll go a slightly different direction. It's 99, 2000. I heard the number 2003 thrown out. I think it was a little before then, but I was getting into this real estate investing world, and I attended a seminar put on by Mid-Ohio Securities, and they were a self-directed IRA company. And I'm going like, well, I got a little money in that old 401k from my corporate world. Let me put it over there. And before I could get it there, I heard about this company in Dallas called Entrust. And I met a man by the name of Quincy Long, who seemed to be smarter than me. And he seemed to have good character. So I put my money with Quincy Long and Entrust Retirement Services, which is now Quest, because I thought they had good character, and I don't have to worry about anybody stealing my money over here because they have good character. So I have left my money with Quest all these years, and it's grown substantially. And because I work with Quest because of the people. I don't need them for advice anymore. I don't need all of that. I need character, and that's why I'm here tonight.
And because I forced him to be here. I'm just kidding.
You never heard character associated with your name before, I know.
No, I've heard he was called a character.
Quincy's heard it before, he's never heard it.
So, honestly, I'm a little bit humbled by the people I'm sitting up here with because they are honestly better real estate investors than I could ever hope to be. So I have to give my thought and a little bit to each one of these three that are sitting up here. How did Quest start? Where did we begin? Well, it started with Quincy was a good speaker and an attorney, and he understood unusual investment strategies, so he would be invited to speak at different things. And one of the things that we did is we started a little group outside of the Wealth Club called INET, which was investors that would take their IRAs and learn to invest it together. And one day someone came by and said like, hey, we think that this is pretty cool, this little investment club. By the way, there's about 12 people in it. All right. And that investment club grew into what Quest is today. Quest currently holds over $2.5 billion in assets. We have 120 employees. We have 18,000 clients that are using self-direction. And it's just grown systemically from you guys. And so if you think that joining your local club or spending time at the wealth clubs, going out to these events, coming out here is just a waste of time, just look at the companies that have developed out of that one little real estate club, the Wealth Club. Didn't you develop your company somewhat out of that? You?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And then you bought it from him after he bought it from someone else. So, all right. My whole point is being, don't ever think that just because you're sitting here, right, that you don't have that same opportunities. Opportunities are always around you, and they're based off of relationships. And relationships is really what will lead you to the education to make the decisions that help you to become successful.
Great answers, guys. All right, so we've kind of gotten a feel for where you came from, why you're here, how you got involved with self-directed IRAs, but let's talk about some of the growing pains as you grew your business. Yeah. That's okay, I have it condensed down into one.
That's an Astros game?
Yeah, oh, I'm keeping a good eye on the clock. 7:45 is when we're going to start taking questions from the audience. Are you guys okay with that? Tight. All right, perfect. As your real estate career, business, and portfolio grew, what were some of the growing pains along the way, and how did you overcome those? Eddie, we'll start with you since Nathan got up.
Well, I'm going to tell you straight up, as soon as you asked that, I had a gut instinct. And it kind of goes back to a little bit about what Tom said earlier. It's cash management. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room that's smarter than me. But I think I excel in a couple areas. One is I probably work harder than anybody else in the room, even today. And I learned how to manage my cash early on. And a self-directed IRA or self-directed IRA company can be a part of that cash management. And we dive into that deeper if you want. That's kind of just skimming the surface. But there's only one reason a real estate investor goes out of business. Well, that can be one. The main reason a real estate investor goes out is he loses his liquidity. He loses his cash. Okay? That's where we all, people can bitch at jet lending all day long they want about the rate was too high. But you know what? You use jet lending money and keep your money in the bank and you're not going to be in trouble. And that could be said for all of us up here. But manage the cash. And I was very good at that. And I would constantly look out early on. I look out 90 days, 120 days. If I don't sell a house, do I have enough money to last 90 or 120 days? Thank goodness I don't have to do that anymore, but I had to do it for a long time early on, and it was stressful. You look out 90, 120 days, I have no income, zero income. Hopefully I'll have some income, but if I have zero income, can I make it? And I manage my cash.
No, what Eddie said was 100% accurate, and I think all of us agree with that 100%. That's one of the things we see all the time is people get in trouble because you can't manage that money, keeping that cash flow going. It's everything. Another thing with growing pains is knowing when you need to expand where you're going, where you need to have growth, even when you don't see necessarily the dollars there to make that growth happen. Taking the risk and pushing out there, and that's the growing pains like that will scare you to death. But sometimes we got to pull that trigger and make it happen, even when we don't think we're ready. We've had to do that before. We were actually getting ready to do something right now. Of course, we're waiting to see what's going to happen with all this tax stuff. We were getting ready to pull the trigger on a new project we were getting ready to start, and now we're kind of on hold. And it's
Go ahead and do it.
those growing pains, they'll kill you. So just some more thought about it.
I think, first of all, what Eddie said, I've heard him say that publicly 15 times, and I learned from him, hearing him say that early on in my career, that
How many
is the
people in the room
lifeblood.
have learned a valuable lesson from Eddie Speed?
Eddie Gant.
Eddie
Yeah.
Or Eddie Speed.
I have to talk to Eddie Speed
yes,
tomorrow.
I have, I guarantee you.
Maybe one or
Sorry,
two.
Eddie.
So
The first time I've done that either.
the capital stuff, that is paramount. In addition to the capital stuff, keeping up with the growth of your infrastructure. I can remember the biggest growing pain Melissa and I ever had was when we hit about 156 units and realized that our accounting software and our property management software was not designed for 156 units. Okay? Because with one purchase, we had gone from 74 to 156. And that jump was way more than our tiny little Excel spreadsheets could handle. So just understanding what your infrastructure is able to do. I was having a conversation with our IT manager today about our lending software, because I can see where we're going to be in a year or 2 years, and we're not capable of doing what I think we're going to do with the current software. So get out ahead of those things, and I learned that from 2012 when we weren't out ahead of our software, basically. But it could be software, it could also be a set of employees, you know. Do you have enough employees to do what you're trying to do this year? Most guys don't. You know, they don't want to get the employees until they see the dollars. And sometimes you got to,
That's backwards.
yeah, that's backwards. Sometimes you got to, you know, go on a little bit of faith and say, look, if I'm going to hit this goal, I need the people on my team to help me hit that goal. That doesn't mean you go out there spending like a drunken sailor on leave, but you've got to take a little bit, have a little bit of faith in building your infrastructure if you're going to set a big goal.
Nathan, did you want to answer this one? You were,
Yeah.
yes.
So I think the biggest thing that holds most people back is something that we often don't talk about. Fear. Fear. Fear, in the end, rules most people's decision. It is what decides what house you buy, where you work, what you do, everything else. Fear shouldn't decide your life. We all have fear. But what should decide your life is your dreams. If you make your decisions based off of your dreams, you will fail. But fail forward. In other words, if you're constantly keeping your dreams in mind and what's important to you, you have to take a minute, what I call it, that moment, I call it when I'm brushing my teeth. You ever brush your teeth? You're looking at somebody, and it's the most important person you ever have a conversation with, it's yourself. And every day you have to answer yourself. And most of the time, we make our most major decisions in life based off of fear. But honestly, if you just had the balls of Eddie here, right? I'm just saying, if everybody acted like Eddie, most of us would be much more wealthy. And there's a reason why he's wealthy is because, and honestly, Eddie is one of the most fearless persons I've ever met in my whole life.
I hide it well.
But so I think that most of us take a look at the major decisions you're making in life. What am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my job? What am I going to do with this? Am I making this decision because I'm frightened? Or am I making this decision because this is what I believe I can do? And I'm kind of a screw up. Jody, is this correct? Kind of a little bit of a fuck up? You know, but I try to base my life on these things and try to, rather than base it off of, geez, I'm a little bit of a screw up. I can do all types of things and screw up. I'll probably screw up this too. Then maybe I'll just try this, and I'm going to ask the people around me, the professional people, to help me, you know, and surround myself with good people with a good moral compass. And in the end, in my life, that's what's made the biggest difference. Because the people help me become who I am. And it's funny, they don't have any regret about it. They're like, oh, you helped me get here and I help you get there and I feel great about it. And that's really cool versus being, oh, I did this and I told you to do that and I told you to do that. And I think all the people at this table exemplify that.
Awesome.
Paint and carpet question, lighten it up.
Okay. Let me look at my list here that I wrote after 6 days of vacation. So let me see. In case anyone wants an update, if you're not already looking out on your phones, it's the end of the second inning. The score is 0-0. So I'll get you guys out of here into the watch party by 8 p.m. I'll promise you that. I have one more question, and then we'll bring it out for questions from the audience. Juan, if you want to go ahead and bring the catch box up here. That thing is so much fun.
Come on, Juan.
Today's
Super, like, he's the best IT guy in
Oh, when Juan walks out here, y'all go ahead and give him a nice round of applause because
Thank you.
okay, not many of you saw this, but right as I said that, Juan Deshawn, our IRA specialist, walked in the room, and he got very excited for a second. Everyone give it up for Juan Deshawn. He helps you guys establish your accounts. All right, guys. I think we can all agree that real estate today is pretty crazy. We're seeing things in the market that we've never seen before. Appreciation, inflation, is really, really rampant right now. So for our speakers, I know at least I think half of you really got your start and your success in this business from flipping houses. Are you still doing that in today's world? What types of real estate investments do you prefer? Do you prefer to be more passive, active? I know some of you guys are venturing into different asset classes. Kind of talk about that. What are you doing today to stay competitive in all this and continue to build wealth in today's crazy market? Tom, I see you thinking. We'll start with you first.
You smelled the smoke. Am I still flipping houses? I'm involved in flipping a few houses, but only with my kids. I'll partner with them to teach them. We got one closing tomorrow in Marion, Ohio, that I'm doing. That I don't like it so much anymore. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I don't want to really do a lot of the flipping houses anymore. I'm more, I just do what I like to do now, and I like notes, I like lending, and I like commercial, and I like other businesses too, as long as there's a real estate component to it. So that's what I'm doing now. I think asset prices are a bit overheated for me. So I'm just not really buying a lot right now, kind of keeping my powder dry. I might be wrong. There's guys on Facebook that say that they could never go down. I don't. Well, there are. There are. And, I don't have a crystal ball, and they don't either, so they might be right. But I'm just kind of keeping my powder dry. When I see a good deal on a commercial asset, we're going to buy it. If I see a good deal on a business, I'll buy that.
By the way, I pay my rent to
But,
Tom at this point.
Yeah. You're a good tenant. You're a good tenant.
Well, we've always, flipped lots of houses over the years, and we're still flipping some houses. Much harder to find those deals now where we can make money, but we still we have some very good techniques that we use, and so we do still find some good deals to flip. And of course, if you've got things to sell right now, sell, because we're getting some fantastic prices on sales. Values have gone up crazy. And we've been very fortunate this year. We've actually sold some great deals. We've flipped some fantastic deals, but it's much tougher than it used to be, and than it ever has been. We've always bought a lot of rental properties in the past.
Steve, so can I ask?
Haven't tossed any.
I want to ask because, which leads to me, I'm not as sophisticated as you three as in some of the investments that, obviously I do, but I always worry in an inflationary market, cash is trash. But then I have these assets that I'm trying to sell and hold to cash. It's so hard for me to figure out where to stand because, right now I'll be honest, we're standing in heavy cash. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm not talking about anything else.
Right. Yeah.
I'm standing in a heavy cash position, and is that good? I'm not sure it is.
It's hard to say. I mean, none of us have a crystal ball, and that's, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, and we're definitely in crazy times out there right now. I've always kind of gone with the philosophy of we're always watching the markets, and this is what the market is giving us right now. Now, does that mean that we're not we're trying to go much more towards the passive side? We're putting money out there to lend. We're getting more into the mortgage note business. We've got some other things that we're trying to put together. So I think that's very good. We've always loved buying rental properties. Haven't bought a rental property in a couple years because of the prices, because it doesn't fit my model. So, we've got to find what we can do. And, I think even though all this stuff is going on around us, we still have to make a living and do our businesses day to day. And we can't let the fear stop us doing that. So we just are going to continue doing that. And, we are constantly watching the market as things shift. Hopefully, we will be able to make the shifts as they come along.
I mean, honestly, for me, it's like I've needed to use more companies like Jet or where someone else is vetting, because the process of vetting your own loans has become more complicated in this strange environment. And honestly, I'm willing to take a lower interest rate to have someone else vetting those type of loans. But
No, and I think you're correct there, because we're doing a lot of that right now. We're with the programs that we've created, we are dropping some of our interest rates because we have to, but we are vetting for our deals for a lot of our lenders because we've got the experience in doing that, and that's been very, very helpful. And we still have our strategy, and we still have our criteria of how we're doing all that as well. I know you're dying to say something there.
No, I'm fine. I'm enjoying it. I always learn and listen from all you guys too. I mean, just because I've been in this business a while don't mean I don't learn something, you know.
I get it.
I'm going to try to keep this to an IRA conversation because it's an IRA meeting, self-directed IRA meeting, because I could easily wander off. But how many of you saw the Mark Dotzer presentation at the JET meeting last week? You guys need to pay attention to, I'll just say what Dotzer says. I fully believe it. He brought up a lot of his presentation I'd seen before, but he had a lot of new stuff. We're talking about real estate investing. Is that fair to say we're mainly self-directed IRAs talking about real estate investing, right? Is that fair to say? Dotzer says there is a housing crisis in this country that is not fixable in the near future, and it's the old supply and demand. There's more demand than there is supply. He threw a stat out there that totally floored me. He said in 1960, there was approximately 1 million new building permits issued in the United States in 1960. He says in 2021, there's going to be approximately 1 million building permits issued in the United States, will now double the population. He says it's not fixable in the near future. You got more demand than there is supply. He said flat out, he said, what we're in is going to stay a while. He said the feds have learned how to artificially keep the interest rates down. They've never done that before. Long-term rates always followed the Treasury, the 10-year Treasury bill, which followed inflation. He said they fixed that because the feds just buy them all at a 2% yield or less. He said, and no one wants to be in Washington in control and this economic situation turn and interest rates go up, not on their watch, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. No one wants that to happen on their watch. He says, we're here for a while. It made me feel good about what I do and what my customers do, because I think I can honestly say, after listening to Dotzer, who's a hell of a lot smarter than I am, that we're in this for a while. So the question Haley said was, are we still flipping houses? The answer is yes. Not at the volume we were, but how long can you go flipping 120 a year? You know, sooner or later you get old in this business. You don't want to do it every day like that. You know, you'd rather do 20 or 25 or 30, you know. So we still flip houses, but we're very diversified, and we do a lot of things. We loan money, and it's obvious that Tom and I are competitors up here, and that's fine, you know, and he loans money and I loan money, and there's probably enough business in Texas for both of us. Probably. Probably. I don't know. Probably. He utilizes a lot of Quest resources to raise private money and loan it out. So do we. We're kind of on even keel on that. But But I guess, I don't know if I'm answering the question or not, but I think we're in this environment that we're in for a while. And, you're trucking along today in Houston, Texas with a 1.5 month inventory. Austin, Texas is closer to 1 month or a little less than 1 month. Dallas is around 1 month. Y'all, it ain't going away for a while. I've said on stage it's going to be here until the interest rates go up. And I still stay true to that, but Doctor says interest rates ain't going up. So there you go. We're here for a while. Enjoy it. Learn how to benefit from it. It don't matter which market we're in as long as you invest accordingly.
And I'll just share a quick something that I actually learned this past week. I spent the last 5 days in Napa Valley at a multifamily mastermind with about 200 other investors. Really great learning experience. If you guys want to get out of your comfort zone, go to an out-of-state event. Nathan's always said that. They're slowly kind of getting back out there, but there's a difference between overpaying in today's market and the cost of missing out. So you always want to make sure you're kind of balancing that because, it might be at the top end today, but a year from now, you're going to be like, dang, that was so cheap. Why didn't I buy that? You guys are multifamily. You know how that works. But all right, guys, we're getting close to 8 p.m. The score is still 0-0 from the last time I refreshed my phone.
What is it?
0-0.
Zero.
Yeah.
I gotta go, so I'm pitching to 8.
Hey, go win the game, go win the game.
His driver is waiting outside. All right, guys, so do we have any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? I know we've got one. The first one's always the quietest. Larry? And in case you guys have not noticed from the slide up here, we actually do live stream all of these events online as well. So if you have a question, make sure to talk into our catch box. It's our first time we've actually gotten to use it. Hopefully it's unmuted for you.
So I've got a question about some of the pending legislation. And my understanding from the emails that I get flooding my email box is that it's been corrected, but at one point the regulations were going to be such that as an apartment syndicator, we were toast because you have to have accredited or sophisticated investors and they weren't going to be allowed anymore. And then also the backdoor Roth as well. I heard that both of those got taken back out of the bill, but I wanted to confirm.
At this point, yes, we understand, and this isn't just like rumor, it's actual official, they changed the things. Now, a couple of things to understand. They fish all this very emotional stuff, including IRAs out there, with the intention of always pulling them back. We all now realize that. But there's definitely a portion that's going after this. And the reason is because there's a lot of tax money that can be gained. And they go after it under the guise that, oh, we want to get the rich guys. Well, if you really wanted to get the rich guys and make it an even playing field, just get rid of the qualified investor. Get rid of the sophisticated investor and let everybody invest. But that's not what they want to do. They only want to do it to the IRAs because it's an attack on IRAs. Unfortunately, a lot of people have retirement accounts, and that creates a lot of political problems, and that has always, in the past, stopped those types of legislation. The danger now is how they're attacking self-direction, which is the fair market values. They've convinced most of the politicians, including ones we've been able to have actual conversations here at Quest with Elizabeth Warren and other famous, so they're talking to us and talking to our industry, but they're like, we don't like it because fair market value, like you can't value those type of assets. So they're still coming after private placements inside of IRAs, even if this bill gets squished. The biggest thing I could ask for any of you to do, and it sounds weird, is to write your congressman and tell them thank you for not including this in this bill. It's unusual, but politicians always get told all the time all the things they need. they very seldom get told thank you. Okay, so the thank you is the setup for the next thing. If we get enough people saying, thank you very much for not attacking my retirement account, it helps us to set up for the next level. But I think that it's going to take a lot more than that to protect it. Because you can't outspend tons of money, which politicians on both sides of the fence have been spending tons of money. It isn't one side, without figuring out how to pay for it. And the answer seems to be attack people's retirement accounts. Of course, it's the wealthy people, right? I'm sorry, but I have very few clients that have over $10 million in an IRA. Most of my clients are hardworking Americans who've saved a little bit of money, right, and have had enough to slip into that qualified or sophisticated investor person. Isn't that true of all of the people who have lent with you guys? We're not talking to the billionaires, right? My average client worked at HEB as a butcher and saved their money. So, yeah, it's scary, but yeah.
Tom, I see you itching over here to say something.
Well, if it's politics, I'll have an opinion. And it is. That's what's called a trial balloon. Like Nathan said, they knew they'd never get it through. What they wanted to do is test and see how much pushback they were going to get. And that's going to dictate how long we can go before this BS shows back up and rears its ugly head again. And make no mistake, it will. It will. So what Nathan said about getting hold of your congressman after the fact, that is a very wise piece of advice, and we should all do that. If you're not politically active, you need to get politically active, because if you don't think you're in politics, let me tell you something. You're a business person. Every person in this room is a business person. And you don't think you're in politics and politics matter to you, you need to get a clue, because it does. Because in a second's notice, they can take your livelihood away, which goes right back to what Eddie and I said earlier. Capital sources for you. Capital sources. You need to be lining up some additional different ones that can't be taken away if this comes back, because it could alter your business. And that's not the only legislation. If y'all haven't been following Texas because you're too busy following the reconciliation bill, check out SB 43, because if you are doing wraps, that one will affect you a bit.
And I will also say something that, anytime I teach a class, if you guys have seen me speak, I always say everyone should have a Roth IRA. Whether you are young, whether you're old, whether you're high income, low income, there's ways that right now, every individual out there in this country, if you have earned income, can have a Roth IRA. If this bill were to have passed the way that it was originally written, it would eliminate the ability for a lot of individuals, even if you're not even a really high income earner, to even have a Roth IRA. So that ability to have some investments held in an account that grows completely tax-free, not only for your life, but when your heirs inherit that account, it's also completely tax-free. Guys, you should take away a few things from this, but if there's one thing that you really take away, open up a Roth IRA. If your kids have earned income, open up a Roth IRA for them, because you never know when they might take this ability away. That's my 2 cents on that.
They're going to come back at this for a couple of reasons. One, like Nathan said, the amount of tax dollars they can collect and misappropriate, right? That's the first one. But the second reason is, imagine the amount of money they will force out of self-directed IRAs and into the U.S. banking system. And the banking lobby is going to continue to pump money into these politicians' coffers to make that happen. They don't want you to have other options. They want you to have to put it into the U.S. system.
Except that it's hard to value, which we can battle that. Go, Eddie, I know you're dying.
No, I want a question or two. I like questions.
Peter, you got a question? Yeah, grab that
Yeah,
thing.
Nathan, it would help a lot if you could put out a few bullet points for a letter for people to write.
Yes.
Hey, Rich, help me out here.
Hands There's a website. It's called handsoffmyira.com.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
Yeah.
think we all want it.
handsoffmyira.com. Isn't that a great name, guys?
is.
The one and only John Heyer came up with that one. Handsoffmyira.com. If you guys don't know who John Heyer is, first of all, attend QuestCon. He will be joining us, subtle plug. But he is one of the top IRA attorneys in our industry. He actually fights the IRS on audits and prohibited transactions cases, and he wins a lot of the time. So this is a website that he's created. It's handsoffmyira.com. Yes, we do. If you guys go to just the homepage of our website, questtrust.com, we've got a banner across the top. We've got a little image on our homepage. You can click on that. You can access our blog. And even further than that, if you still have questions, we have a live chat feature that you can actually chat with an IRA specialist. It's a real IRA specialist. It's us here in the office. If you log in on Mondays, you'll get me. But we can answer your questions there as well. We do have a question from online. Unless someone else had one here. I see you.
AC, do you have a question?
I know, guys, I wasn't.
Who's up?
Not us.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, it was 4-0 last night. We came back.
So we can take more questions, right? We're not really missing out on anything.
Hey, that's reading my phone's buzzing. They want me to come out of the bullpen a little early tonight. That's reading my phone's buzzing.
Hey, you need another beer?
What's that?
Yes, he does.
You gotta be loosened up for the ball.
Yeah, I got. Sure, why not? I ain't scared of them.
You gonna do the rock, baby?
It's light beer. It's Coors Light. It's not whiskey.
All right, we got a question over here.
What sources do y'all what sources do y'all recommend to get into politics?
What sources get in politics? Are you blue or red?
I really
If you
don't know.
blue, you can go on out that door right there. If you red, we'll talk about it a little bit.
Do I just watch the news, or is there? No.
You know, honestly, I have friends that do it. You know what you need to do? You need to find your favorite politician and go volunteer. Go walk up in there because they're starving for volunteers.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's,
They know
yeah.
your face,
Yeah.
they know you're
Yeah.
volunteering, because I'm
Yeah.
involved with
And you-
federal, state, and here in Houston level.
And you grow from there. And you grow from there. They like what you do and you're committed to the effort and their belief. Then one day you may not be a volunteer anymore. You may be a paid staff member. And then you evolve and grow from there. And I would say second thing is get involved with wherever you can get involved. But volunteer and then get involved.
Okay.
That makes sense?
I think I kind of more meant like researching. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Still great advice.
Volunteer.
But still,
The information highway is endless. It really is. You just got to jump on it.
go ahead.
I think you got to be careful because I think that, pardon me, blue or red doesn't represent most of us. I think most of us have been lost to the radicals of both sides. So the important thing about politics maybe becomes more local. Like, take the time to actually read your ballot. Read about the election today was important. Did you vote today? Like, did you read? So, and you act like it's not important to you, but in today's time, this may be one of the most important times ever, because I think this is the time that we redefine ourselves as a society. Because hard right, hard left isn't working anymore. And you can see it. My God, they're so old. They're ancient, Eddie. I mean, honestly, they're so old. Like, I want to like not vote for anybody that's over like 40 anymore. But anyway, that's me. And I'm much older than 40.
Oh, Lord, here we go. Oh, here comes James. James, I'll tell you what he's pulling out of here. Come on.
So, part of harvesting your wealth, I think, has a lot to do with remaining persistent long enough to gain wealth. So, one of my thoughts were, what are some of the common traits of those who were successful for a time and fell off? Because I see that all the time. They do well over time and they fall off. And you say too,
They rode the wave.
yeah, or lending, right? Maybe they lend for a while and fell off for whatever reason. More so, what are things that we can do as business people?
Well,
to
I think it's
avoid that?
important to understand I'm sorry, but James, what you brought up a very important part. It's not always a skyrocket, right? We have to decide where we want to go.
You took the words out of my mouth, Nathan. It starts at the end.
But
It starts at the end.
I think that it still goes back to what some of these people said is you can't predict what's going to happen. So what you can predict is the people you surround yourself with. Like, I know my employees, even when they're really pissed off at me, in the end, they appreciate it and will do what they have to do. And so if you surround yourself with the people who will work with that, because you can't think your way through every situation, James, but 100 people could probably figure it out if they're in an environment where they can present their ideas and feel comfortable and be able to put them forward. Then you have an actual think tank.
I bet I can spit off 15 answers to answer that question, not slow up. Seriously. It's not just one thing. It's ethics, doing it right, cash management, not cutting corners, treating people like you want to be treated. Don't cheat people. Surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. Innovate.
I had a deal.
Change with the times. You think I run my business today like I did in 1999? It's totally different.
I had a deal I did with somebody, and I put it under contract. We went to title. A wholesaler had found that out and went back to the seller and offered him $10,000 more money than I had just offered him, and then said, "Hey," and I called him and I confronted him. I said, "He goes, this is the way the business works. Just get used to it." I mean,
Yeah.
and that was his kind of, and he's a pretty well-known guy too. And that was that was kind of his thought on it.
All of us that's been in this business a while have seen people come and go, some flash in the pans, some, appear to be long-term and then fall off. And it's a variety of reasons, I think if you want to center in on 2 or 3, it's ethics and how you run your business and cash management and change with the times. You have to change. I mean, you do. Hell, I don't know technology, but I learned to hire those that do. I can't get on the computer back there and do anything, but I know how to instruct somebody. This is what I need. Can you get this for me? So you change with the times, good ethics. That doesn't change in cash management. We talked about it repeatedly. But I mean, seriously, I could list out 20 things and not even slow down for what gets you in longevity.
Yeah, no, and 100% what he's saying. I mean, and some of those folks out there, you can fool people for only so long, and that's really what it comes down to. Especially everybody out on Facebook, and a good variety amount on Facebook, which we all know. They can fool you for so long.
But got $200,000 in chips.
at the Bellagio in Vegas spread out on the table with a picture. That dude ain't real.
Are the ones flashing?
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. No, you're 100%. And we see that all the time. But in today's age, everybody buys into that. Everybody eats all that stuff up.
In today's age, in every day's age,
Yeah.
everyone always chases what I call the greed glands. But like, honestly, strong moral commitments, take care of your clients. Something Quincy always said is, as an attorney, is like, what do you think protects you the most against your renters? And they would be people like, well, this and that and good insurance. And he's like, no, it's taking good care of your renters will protect you against lawsuits against your renters more than anything else. And everyone's like, oh, wait, I didn't think of that.
So I'd like to add one, but it totally escaped me. Oh, here it is. I was thinking about the Astros game for a second, and it brought up something. You know, I don't know about the other guys here, but I built my business on singles and doubles. I didn't build my business on home runs, right? Swinging for the damn fences, you know, the one and done kind of deal. I've just never gone for that. I built my business on singles and doubles.
Awesome. Speaking of the Astros game, we've got time for one more question there in the back, and then we'll kind of start to wrap it up.
So Nathan, you said, I guess something that Tom also said, he talked about, kind of floating a trial balloon, and you talked about the importance of being able to value something. Do you see that we may be heading for a time where we start being taxed on unrealized gains on assets like real estate on like a yearly basis or something like that, or is that still
Yes.
way out? And I guess if so, then what's the strategy? Your holding costs then go up. Do you see the asset shift?
Strategies always have to change as tax laws and situations change. You have to be able to understand that. In the end, the investor will always win because it works. There always will be somebody that has to come in and fix any situation. And I don't care if that is the bad market on the mortgage or this or that. You can talk to Eddie Speed, you can talk to Eddie Gant, you can talk to all these different people in all the different areas, right? But in the end, they're like, I got my wealth because I was there figuring out how to do things other people couldn't figure out how to do. So every time you hear this fear about, oh, this is changing, this is doing that, this is doing that. For me, when I heard this fear that they're going to drop private placements from IRAs, a lot of the people in my industry were like, oh my God, because that's about 40% of my business. They're like, 40% of my business is going away. To me, I'm like, what a great opportunity, right? Every change that happens is an opportunity. And learning to spot the opportunity is what makes you a true businessman and a true investor. Because the society, the field, the things will always change. But in the end, you still have to eat. And if you know how to hunt what you eat, you'll be fine.
Great answer.
One of the things
All from a vegan.
one of the one of the things that I always keep in mind is, money is made and wealth is created when there's market disruption.
Correct.
When there's any kind of market disruption, it creates opportunity for those that are entrepreneurial and they're willing to find a fix or willing to get in there and figure out a different way that hasn't been done before. So I always say in a rising market, you make money, right? In a rising market, it's easy to make money. You flip a house the last few years, you could even screw up and still make money, right? Because appreciation's getting out ahead of where you thought your ARV was a lot of times. In a crashing market is when you build wealth. In a crashing market at least where my wife and I built our wealth. We, you know, it was easy to build wealth when in 2011 we could buy an apartment complex, right, at $13,000 a door to $18,000 a door. That's what we were buying at. And then, you know, 4 or 5 years later, we're selling those same complexes for $43 a door to $64 a door. That's wealth creation, and it's wealth creation in a short period of time. But, you know, we haven't been able to do that, haven't been able to duplicate that in, what, like a decade now? But, but in a crashing market, if you get out there and you think about it and you get ahead of it, you can build wealth in a very short time frame. Without market disruption, it's harder to do that.
I always thought it was, I wouldn't say humorous. I thought it was weird, I guess is a word, that people are so scared of a market change. I welcome it most times because the smart get out on the head of the curve before the not smart do, and we take advantage of it. And it ain't going to happen for a while, I don't think, but I welcome it when it happens. It doesn't scare me. I kind of welcome it, but, you know.
Well, yeah.
But you hear people, oh, what are we going to do, you know? They were saying that when it was a crashing market. What are we going to do when it turns around? What are we going to do? Well, you make adjustments. You make adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, when everybody's doing the same thing, do the opposite. Always do the opposite. And when we have a change happen, don't let the fear overcome you. Take control of your fear and take action and make it happen.
Let's go, Astros.
I was about to say, guys, let's give it up for our panelists. I think that's a great note to end on for tonight. All right, before you guys get up, panelists, you know, are setting a bad example up here. I have a few last just closing announcements. Don't forget, we do have our, yeah, guys, come on. I got some stuff to push up here. Come on. Anyways, before we get out to the watch party out there, I do just want to remind you guys that this week is the last week for pre-sale tickets for QuestCon Live. Juan Deshawn has been hanging out here all night waiting to talk to you guys. Couple of little, just, you know, call to actions. I don't know how to not be blunt with you guys, to be honest. Get your QuestCon ticket if you have not already. Tickets go up in prices this Friday. Also, if anyone here is interested, even if you're not interested in opening an account right now, if you're interested in talking to an IRA specialist, we have these little blue consultation sheets at all of your tables. Go ahead and fill this out. It takes 5 seconds. Get it back to us. Let us know a good time to call you. We can answer your questions about IRAs, borrowing money from other people's IRAs, our events, pretty much anything you might have questions about. All you have to do is fill this out. We'll reach out to you. And if you have questions about QuestCon, accounts, anything like that, come see Juan, come see myself. We'll be around. After we leave this room, I will let you know our bartender leaves at 8:30, but we can still take some beers. I'm a bad example.
Who doesn't have a Quest account? It's got an old IRA. I saw a few hands. Y'all got to get on this. Got to get on it. Who has an old IRA, or old 401k that doesn't have an account? You got.
We're talking to a man already with your Kurt.
Kurt, yeah. Kurt Power. Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Okay, you have to. You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Just trust me. You know, you got to get on that.
Yeah, guys, I'll tell a very, very quick story. So obviously this is my father up here. He's been a Quest client since 2003, whatever. I'm not going to lie, my first day at Quest, when I got my credentials, I logged in. I was like, all right, Eddie, Debbie, what are we working with here? And not kidding, my first day. And I was truly shocked at how much you can actually grow an IRA by self-directing it. So when you see us Questies up here and we get really passionate about this, we get really excited about Roth IRAs and private lending, all this stuff, it's because we've actually seen this impact it can have on people's lives. A lot of us do it ourselves. You know, David, he now invests his own IRAs as well. So it's the real deal. You've got to do it right. You've got to get in with the right people, get the right education. That's why we're here for you. And come back to our events. If you guys enjoyed tonight, you haven't watched the Astros been losing so far, so we're going to go out there and hopefully they'll start scoring. If you guys all want to, give us all one last round of applause, we'll get the party moving out there. And I hope this was worth your time tonight. Thanks, everyone.